لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. يا رب لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وجاهد في سبيل ربه حتى أتاه اليقين. فاللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا وعن الإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جازيت به نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته. اللهم أحينا على سنته وتوفنا على ملته وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا من يده الشريفة شربة هنيئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. ثم أما بعد. My dear respected brothers and sisters, what is Islam? It sounds a very simple question, but I assure you a lot of Muslims will give you different answers. And the most essential answer to this question is that Islam consists of revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the tradition and the practice of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it requires belief and practice. But we also understand that so many great minds, leaders, political, intellectual, jurists, philosophers over centuries also helped develop various interpretations of Islam that made Islam a living faith, not just theoretical faith. Muslim theologians actually they have developed different theories and opinions, like fiqh also, fiqhi madahib have been also developed, which is a very healthy phenomenon. And all these great minds, great individuals, they actually influenced millions of Muslims in different parts of the world. Many of them are still as influential today as they were in the 4th Islamic century, or the 10th century Common Era. There are plenty of, after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, the first and the best generation that we love and respect, always look up to, they face new issues, new questions. And the Prophet is not there anymore to go and ask him. They have to also develop their own ijtihad and understanding and how to deal with these new issues. So many questions come. Some of them have to do with governance system. Others have to do with Islamic finance, Islamic law, dealing with others, peace and war, so on and so forth. So many ideas and theories have been made by big minds, and these individuals are still influencing so many Muslims around the world. That's why we have various realization, interpretations, and understanding of Islam. The good news is that all Muslims around the world agree on the fundamental, basic Islamic teaching, like the oneness of God, the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the revelation of the Quran, and life after death, hell and heaven, and so on and so forth. The 5 pillars of Islam agreed upon. But every particular community has its own understanding developed by some minds. And these big minds influenced how Islam is practiced in this particular region. And we are still, in our daily life, whether we know the names of these individuals or not, no one can deny the fact that Imam Abu Hanifa is a great mind, a great jurist, and his opinions and the opinions of his students are still influencing millions of Muslims. Maybe many Muslims don't know anything about Imam Abu Hanifa, but in their daily basis, the way they practice Islam in a daily basis, it's coming from this man who died in the 4th Islamic century. But he's still very influential. And many of the communities who liked his faith, because of course the Abbasids actually accommodated or adopted his madhab as the official one, and then the Ottomans after that. It's very interesting that even the Hanafi communities, they don't actually have the very same opinions. And this is very evident in how they practice their life. I was in Istanbul last summer, and I prayed 2 Jum'ahs there. And every time you go to a Turkish masjid, predominantly Hanafi was the official, and he's still the official madhab there. But the way they do the prayer, they call the adhan, and the adhkar they make after salah is very unique to the Turkish community. The mu'adhin there does not just call adhan, but once you're done with the salah, the mu'adhin has his own microphone and he makes the tasbih and salah upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then after the tasbih is done, then he makes some du'as, and then the imam recites some ayat. So this setup has been made by someone. Not only by Imam Abu Hanifa, but even the Hanafi madhab that it developed into many different practices. They have the same point of reference, but others added some traditions there. I enjoy it, I like it, although I don't do it myself. We don't do it here in IAGD. In India and Pakistan, Bangladesh, Muslims there are Hanafi, predominantly Hanafis, but they don't do that. That's not part of their tradition. It's not part of their tradition. Even within a madhab or within even a sect, you have many different traditions developed in it. If you are a Shia, then if you're a Shia, Ithna Ashari or Sevener, Ismaili or Zaydi, and even within this, if you are Iraqi, Shia is different from Lebanese Shia, different from Iranian Shias, although they're all Ithna Ashari or Ja'fari or Imamis. By the way, according to Imam Abu Hanifa and Hanafi Imams, Hanafi great scholars, modern and old, second Jum'ah is not allowed. It's not void. There should be no second Jum'ah. Except in very few exceptions here and there, but having second Jum'ah regularly is not allowed. And I'm using this as introduction to what I want to say about us here, American Muslims. For us, in the same way, we have to understand whatever decisions we make here will affect the future of Islam. We are part of this cultural production. Our children and the children of our children will understand Islam through what we do today. As every community has its own unique realization, understanding, and practice of Islam without compromising the fundamentals, we as American Muslims also, we have our own unique circumstances. And we are trying to find the way to, to reconcile our heritage, our cultural and religious understanding into the American reality. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know some say, oh, you don't want to Americanize Islam. That's not Americanization of Islam in a negative sense. Because Islam went everywhere, and Islam, again, looked very Chinese in China, very African in Africa. It's not stranger. And now, as a growing community, we are also producing a new culture. One big challenge is that we are multicultural Muslim community. Muslims came from every part of the world, in different times, for different reasons. And we try to find a way, what can we give up, what we have to think about dealing with the current situation. So we have shown some good deal of flexibility, but we need to do more. The second Jumu'ah is just one example. It's just one example. But this is a reality. We cannot have one Jumu'ah here. And I think if the Hanafi Imams actually came and lived in America here and understood the circumstances, they would have changed my mind. I hope some of them will. Some of them will. Some of them will not. Because just reading what's been written 7 centuries ago, and they stuck with it. But what made Islam a great global religion is the idea of flexibility. The realization of the reality of the people. It's not just one size fits all. This is what it is, everybody has to follow it. It's not like that. It's only perhaps relevant to the fundamentals that I talked about. Unchangeable aspects of Islam. But realizing the reality of the people is extremely important, and Islam was very successful in doing that. It was very successful in realizing the local culture, looking at the circumstances, providing alternative. Muslim scholars in the past, when people bring questions for them, it's easy to say it's haram, but it's difficult to say here's the alternative. Islam always say this is haram, but you have this halal. a lot of halal alternatives. But not haram, 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 no alternative. You cannot eat pork, that's known, but you have plenty of halal things you can enjoy. You cannot, have illicit relations with other genders, but here's the marriage as the solution. Islam always provides an alternative. But when people got stuck, they have nowhere to go, that's not how Islam handled things. After all these centuries of opinions, arguments, madhahib, theories, interpretations, we here, after all these hundreds of years, we have mountains of opinions. Think about it. You have mountains of opinions and theories. If you go and search in these mountains, you'll find the following. You'll find diamond, you'll find gold, you'll find silver, you'll find iron, you'll find copper, you'll find, also with all due respect, some garbage. Some horrible ideas. Horrible, bad ideas. Has nothing to do with Islam. Especially when it comes to treating women or treating non-Muslims and so on and so forth. I studied Islamic law long enough to see all these beautiful ideas, and also ideas has nothing to do with Islam, but still some read it and follow it. An example of these diamond ideas, beautiful ideas. What Imam Shafi'i said in his opinion about a Muslim man married to a Christian or Jewish woman. He cannot and he should not invite her to Islam. He should not make da'wah for her. And when they asked the Imam, making da'wah is good, invite people to Islam, and he said, but because there's shubha, he's using his influence, he may use his influence. Right? And this should be ikrah. And Allah said, la ikrah fi deen. There's no compulsion in religion. Because he's the man, he's the leader, spends, and he has some power. He should not use this power to pressure indirectly his wife to come to Islam. Because Allah said, la ikrah fi deen, no compulsion in religion. If she wants to, if he treats her well, maybe hopefully this will attract her to Islam, but he should not actively invite her to Islam because this shubha. This shubha means there is suspicion that he may use some portion, small portion of ikrah, compulsion. And that's not accepted. And great, wonderful, legal, ethical ideas. There are tons of them. And we should really be proud of the great Muslim minds who came up with these amazing theories and ideas. But at the same time, others also wrote stuff that has nothing to do with Islam. Has nothing to do with Islam. Especially when it comes to Muslim collecting jizya from non-Muslim living, and how you should humiliate them, how you slap them on the face and tell them, ya kafir, pay the jizya. So Muhammad was sent to humiliate people? And this is the adab, if you go and collect jizya from a small minority or paying jizya, you have to treat them like that. You go, you sit down, and the kafir, his wife, his children stand up, and you slap him in the face, and then you tell him that this is how it should work. And so many other opinions, again, you can call it crazy ideas. Crazy ideas. But because it's written somewhere, printed, still printed, and so-called student of knowledge read these ideas, it has some, holiness in it. No, our Islam, we do not compromise our Islam. We love our deen. We love what Allah said and what the Prophet ﷺ did. But when it comes to human interpretation, as I said, some of them are beautiful, wonderful. Others are not really as good. And you know what happens? If you go to these mountains of opinions, if you want to show Islam as beautiful religion, then you're going to go and collect these diamonds and look at how beautiful Islam is. And the opposite is also available. Those who are anti-Islam, they will go and collect from the same mountains all these crazy ideas and put it together and say, see, this is what your scholars say. Right? It's your books. It's your big names. So I'm getting puzzled here. What should we do now? It's true. It's coming from our books. It's not anti-Muslim people wrote about it. So we as American Muslims need to be smart enough and to be selective and to be aware of the fact that we have to be selective. Based on what? Our whims and desires? No, based on the spirit and the objectives of the Quran and the Sunnah. If someone come up with an idea that obviously goes against the rahmah and justice and equality that Islam established, then it's obviously not Islamic. Even if it comes from a big name. There are big names we all respect and love, but they made wrong opinions because they're not prophets, they're not ma'soom. And we should not consider them or treat them like prophets. We have to be selective. We have to have critical approach to what has been produced, because 1400 years of ideas and theories and books and philosophies. It's kind of very difficult for average Muslim just to go to read all these things. It's okay, so this is a great scholar and his books are still there. Yeah, greatest scholar, may Allah bless his soul and reward him for the good things he did, but he's wrong in this. He's wrong with this. We have only one prophet. His name is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We respect all his companions and all the great scholars of Islam who are, as I said, still influential in our life today. But they did not expect us to follow everything they say. They never claimed that you just follow us no matter what we say. They encourage their students to be critical and to critique. Imam Abu Hanifa, when he saw students writing his fatwas, said, "What are you doing? You are writing everything I say? I may say something today, change it tomorrow. You need just to understand my rationale, not just the final fatwa. You need to understand the rationale of this fatwa," which many people don't like to do because they are lazy. So, brothers and sisters, what I want to say here is that we here as American Muslims, coming from different parts of the world, all thoughts and ideas and madhahib and backgrounds, we must understand we have a reality called the United States of America, all its complexity. The big challenge is how to understand Islam, to understand the big picture of Islam, the fundamentals of Islam, the spirit of Islam, the objectives of Islam, and how to implement it here in America in the 21st century. How to prepare the next generation to be proud of their Islam, connect to their roots, and at the same time very active in their community. It's a big challenge. And we need to put more thoughts, ideas, to look forward and to have strategic understanding and thinking about what we need to produce for our children and how can we envision Islam in the future. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to follow his guidance. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil khalqi wal mursalin, sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Brothers and sisters, before I conclude, inshallah, tonight will be the first session for the Heart and Minds youth program, high school students mainly, and last Friday was a very successful meeting. Alhamdulillah, I have 60 plus students registered in this program, and I expect inshallah more parents will not get the chance to hear about this to register their children, and I hope and pray that this program will be successful, that so many other Muslim youth will come and join us in the future. And the comments and the reaction of many parents was also very interesting. Many said, we have a student in college, can they come and join? We have a son or daughter in middle school, can they come and join? Some parents actually wanted to come and participate. we cannot have one program for everybody. That's very difficult. And the idea is to focus on the high school, but we also sense the need for having a lot of programs for our youth, middle school, college, and high school, and so on and so forth. So I hope and pray in the near future, inshallah, we'll have something similar to this for the middle school students and for college students. But inshallah, I hope tonight we'll have a good beginning, and this will be every Friday evening. As for the tafsir class, inshallah, we moved it to Monday. So Monday, this week will be after Maghrib, and next week will be after Isha, inshallah, because the time will, Maghrib will be very early. So the tafsir class, or studying Ihya Ulumuddin weekly lecture, will move to Monday, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide all our hearts and forgive our sins and have mercy upon all of us, our parents, and the people who passed away. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant shifa to those who are sick, and pay off the debt of those who are in debt, and heal those who are wounded. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-huda wa al-tuqa wa al-'afafa wal-ghina. Allahumma inna nas'aluka rizqan tayyiban wa 'amalan mutaqabbalan. اللهم اصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا، واصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا، واصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا. اللهم اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير، واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث، فاصلح لنا شأننا كله، ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ولا إلى أحد من الناس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اشفنا واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين، وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين، وانصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين.